Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
This was in 1986. My uncle owned a bunker like one of those well-built survival bunkers. His house and the bunker were in the edge of old woods on one side, and on the other was a farm field. 25 miles away were some nuclear silos. The bunker had a two-door system, a surface door that locks from the inside via a sliding latch, so you can't accidentally lock yourself out, and an inner door that is the actual blast door, a small bank vault-style door that locks with a lever like some ship doors do. Not LOL NORAD big, but you won't be getting through it. The inside was a 4-room bunker with a ceiling generator room, a bedroom, a storage room, and a kitchen socializing room, which also held a then-new computer and a phone. A landline connected us to the house. Well, me and my sister were visiting my uncle. He had a great idea for a camping trip. We could pretend there was a nuclear threat and practice taking shelter. The night went nicely, but we eventually heard from the interior door. Boom, 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 as if someone was pounding on it. Remember the exterior door locks. No one gets in. Uncle said don't open it, just ignore it, it will go away. It is the ground settling. Boom, boom, it happened again, then quit. We bought the story. About like midnight, the phone rang. My uncle had just walked off to piss, so I grabbed the phone as Uncle had gone to take a leak. "Are you safe?" said my mother's voice, then it cut off. A shrill, shrieking noise. Moments later, the entire place shook. My sister and I thought it was a nuke. Boom, boom on the inner door, followed by a muffled, let us in, boom, boom. We freaked out and began crying as the place shook again with a loud roar. We cried out for our uncle. He wasn't in the shelter. We didn't see him. We couldn't find him, and he couldn't have gotten out. There were screams outside the door, and the big locking door was hot to the touch. So we began to really seriously freak out. We went to the bathroom where Uncle was supposed to be and locked the door for added distance from the hot door. After a few minutes, everything died down. We went back out and tried to find Uncle in the small rooms. He was nowhere. The door wasn't hot anymore. Everything seemed fine. Uncle came out of the bathroom we had just left, asking him what the hell all the fuss was about. We told him. This used to be Indian territory. Weird shit happens. You get used to it. It's mostly in your mind. Just ignore it. You are safer in here. To prove to us we weren't in a nuclear war, he booted the computer up and began connecting to various phone numbers he had listed as universities, etc. With that proven, we went back to bed. Nothing else happened. A few years later, he died, and the property was sold to his neighbors.
I won't Greentext because I'm on a phone, but when I was about 8 or 9, we stayed with my grandparents in Tucson right around Easter. My half-brother and sister were also visiting. Consequently, I slept on the couch, and my parents stayed at a one-room casita guest house that was on the property, across a stretch of desert, maybe 100 feet wide. My grandparents had cable and a swimming pool, both of which were novelties to me, especially the movie channels. Staying on the couch and not tired, I decided to turn on the TV. What's on? Oh, it's Poltergeist. I still find that movie freaky, but at the time it scared the hell out of me. After watching, I was in even less of a mood to sleep since I kept on thinking about the maggoty meat and clown under the bed, so I pick up a magazine on the side table and start reading it. I have no idea what magazine it was, but the story I wound up reading was about some little girl with multiple personality disorder. I should pause a moment and admit to being stupid. I should have read something else. Anything, probably. But I kept reading it for the same reasons I browse X and watched Poltergeist in the first place. I kind of enjoy being freaked out. Anyway, The article goes on and on about this poor crazy girl, and I'm getting more and more freaked out, thinking about Indian graveyards and paranoid delusions of demons, and I look out the sliding glass door to the pool area, and there is a black shape, the size of a man standing superimposed against the doors. Inside the house. Mind you, it's 2 a.m. probably at this point. Everyone else has been in bed for hours. That was it for little me. I bolted out of my grandparents' house. Front door to the stretch of desert was opposite direction from what I am convinced is a demonic vision. Maybe I am going crazy like the kid in the magazine article. And ran across in my bare feet to the casita. Continue? Not much actually happens. Might as well finish. I bolted across the stretch of desert and woke my folks up. They searched all over and found no trace of an intruder or anything. I felt much better now that everyone was awake to keep me company. They, of course, were less than pleased with me. Eventually, everything calmed down and people went back to bed. Even I was calm at that point. I wish I could say that I found a handprint or something on the door, but nothing like that happened. All in all, it was probably just an overactive imagination or some kind of dream, but it made me nope hard enough to run to my folks without putting my shoes on. My feet were scraped up and bruised and hurt for a few days. Anticlimactic, but man, did I ever get myself freaked out that night. I've never seen anything like that figure since, so I still wonder if it might have been real.
I don't usually post, so forgive me for any mistakes I make when telling my tale. When I was 12, I was allowed to stay home by myself for a whole night. Don't think of my parents as bad. We had recently moved into the house next to my uncle, and help would be literally a minute and a half away. Anyway, normal night. Did the normal things you would expect a kid home alone to do. Watched some R-rated movies, ate some shit I wasn't supposed to, snooped through my parents' and siblings' things, what have you. Around 2 o'clock, I decided it was time for bed. I distinctly remember locking all the entrances, turned off all the lights besides the one in my room. Since we had just moved in, it's possible I missed a window, but I don't think so. Thing is, I hadn't really noticed anything too odd about this house. There was the occasional squeaking of the floorboards. Odd sound, but nothing major. Anyway, I went to sleep with my dog beside me and woke up to him growling low at my door. The hallway light was on. I freaked out and walked to the door. Heard something like someone was whispering on the other side, but I couldn't really understand what it was. Noped right out. Grabbed my dog and pulled him from the door and slammed it shut. I remember putting my back to the door, terrified as my dog was going crazy, and feel something slam into the other side, hard enough for the whole wall to shake. My door didn't have a lock, so I sat there putting my whole weight against it and holding onto the doorknob so no one would be able to turn it. Never felt anything try the whole time, though. I was scared to death and was trying to find a way to contact my uncle without getting away from the door. Felt the wall vibrate one more time. I shrieked as loud as possible, "Go away, just leave me alone." Dog stopped barking a minute or two after this. Stayed at the door for another. I remember watching the clock and staying as silent as possible for any noises. I opened the door silently and sent the dog into the hallway. He didn't freak out and was acting like I was playing with him, wagging his tail like nothing had happened. Snuck downstairs. I vividly remember all the inside doors being wide open and all the lights on. Walking downstairs, watching them without blinking, thinking someone was going to come rushing out of them. All the lights in the house were on. Ran to the front door, dog in toy nipping at my hand like we were playing. It was still locked, flung it open and booked it straight to my uncle's house. I honestly don't think any part of me touched the fence when I went to jump it. Uncle was up and had seen the lights flick on at around 2:15 when I would have been sleeping, and apparently figured I had watched a scary movie and was turning them on for comfort. Thanks, Uncle. Told him someone was in the house, and I don't think he believed me. Went over there with his 38 police special and searched the whole house. None of the entrances to the outside were open besides the front door, and nothing looked out of place. So he turned out all the lights and locked the door, and called my parents to tell them I had had a bad dream. No one believes me. We moved out of that house 4 months later, and nothing ever happened again. I'm not really into the occult, and I'm not 100% it wasn't a burglar, although why he didn't touch anything and nothing was out of place is odd. Anyone on here have an idea what it could have been?
This happened when I was about 6. Be living with Grandma in a woods. Nearest house is about 1 kilometer away. Was out playing in the backyard with brother, and we heard something rustle the bushes. Must be a moose or something. Spooked and went inside. Brother spent the day playing Pokemon, and I was staring out the window looking for whatever made the noise. See someone run in the brush on the border of our backyard. It's running tree to tree hiding. Get spooked and tell Grandma. That wasn't actually the scary part either. It's what happened that night. Be in bed trying to get to sleep but worried that we have a creeper outside. Not the first time someone stalked the house. Hits 2 a.m., and I start to hear the bushes rustling through my open window. Assume I'm okay as long as my bedroom door is locked, and I was on the 2nd floor. I was wrong. I laid in bed watching that window for the longest time. Heard a bang and watched as a hand rested on the screen. Ripped it wide open. Grandma help me. JPG. She comes rushing in to find my screen completely busted. We called the police to report an attempted break-in. They came and searched the surrounding area but found no one. They also checked the ground underneath my window, which I remind you is on the 2nd floor, and found no trace of footprints or even ladder imprints. Still have no idea how that hand was able to reach my window and rest on the screen without the help of a ladder. Never opens my window at night no matter how hot it is.
B17. Friend turned 18 before me and has a driver's license. Go on adventures with him using his mom's car. In the summer, we scour almost every point of interest in the region. Friend is really into it, while I'm just along for the ride. Most of the time I have no idea where I'm even going. I'm just there to drink beer and talk. Back in the day, everything wasn't online. Friend would get his trip ideas from old relatives who knew the area. Often the destination existed only in rumors and wasn't even there. During one adventure, Friend has an idea. He had heard about a wild cave nearby, but only knew the rough location. It's supposed to be in the middle of a forest without a road leading to it. The cave's name is Devil's something. I can't remember if it was ass or nest or what. I have no idea how obscure the place is. Friend just says he knows a cave nearby. Thinking it's a well-known place, I look around for where it logically feels like it should be. In 50 minutes, I end up finding the cave entrance against all odds in the middle of nowhere. A little drunk, I decide to explore the cave with no gear at all. Friend is freaking out, but I'm calm. Inside, it's beautiful. The walls have mineral deposits that sparkle a little. There's a chamber after a tight squeeze. Drunk and limber, I don't even freak out about the squeeze. I go down a shaft while starting to freak out a little since it's slippery. 30 minutes into the spelunking, I start freaking out properly. Inside, I find some weird markings on the walls in brown red that looks like dried blood. I feel a knot in my stomach. I leave the cave and never return. Here's the weird part. This cave doesn't exist anywhere online. Friend doesn't remember it either. Known and explored caves exist in the area, but this is not one of them. This was in the middle of the forest. The only lead is that there was a satanic ritual held in a cave in the nearest town, according to a weird video. Link in the description.
I lived in a trailer park as a kid with my dad and my sister. Beamy 12. Homesick. Like painfully sick. Alone. Lying down on couch. Head starts hurting a lot. Start getting this feeling like every piece of dust in a house is coming towards me. Except really, really slowly. Felt like I was there for a year, waiting for the dust to get to me. Look up at the clock. Only 5 minutes have passed. Haven't had the sensation since. More trailer park stories. Dad's friend Mike had died of skin cancer a few years earlier. Get a call from the hospital he had died in one winter. Recording says that Mike wants to wish us a Merry Christmas later in the year. Dad gets drunk and tells me that he was visited by Mike the other night. Tells me about how he wasn't afraid and was just happy to see Mike again. Never hear from the spirit of Mike again. I figure he must have scratched my dad off his unfinished business list. Me and my sister had a big circle of friends in the trailer park. There were the 2 near special ed kids, the fat girl, the weeaboo, and this really short future Karen girl, chilling in the forest with the whole gang one day, on top of this big concrete box at the bottom of a ravine. The box has a big tunnel in it that leads into the sewer, but it's blocked off by iron bars. The sewer tunnel fed a long, shallow creek that went on through the entire forest. Karen girl is sitting on the edge of the box. She falls in. Her legs are definitely broken when she hits the ground. A few seconds pass, no splash. We all peer over the side. She's being held up by 2 hands coming out of the tunnel. Hands slowly lower her into the water. She turns around after they let go. Ask her what she saw. Nothing. That place was really weird.
When I was younger, my parents were members of a club that would rent out my school every Friday. I'd tag along because I liked playing with the kids that tagged along with their parents. I loved being able to play through the school at night when the halls and gym are empty. The gym would usually be open, as well as the utility closet where they kept all of the equipment, so you can imagine it was like gym class without the pressure or teachers. The hallways were semi-lit. There were dark spots here and there, and it shone the school in a more interesting light. Anyways, so one Friday night, I go with my parents as usual, and I want to hang out with the other kids, but it's the height of the Pokemon card craze. And being a poor kid, my parents didn't want to dish out $5 for like 10 pieces of colorful cardboard for me. So being mad jealous and bored, I go explore the halls alone. Anyways, it's kind of eerie when you're in the empty halls by yourself. I'm occupying myself by running around the place and looking into the classrooms. The classrooms had motion sensor lights, so they were all just pitch black. I decide to go down to the gymnasium, which was dark. I open the door and the lights turn on one by one. The last row of lights turn on and there's a person just standing there. I flinched. I was a quiet kid, so I don't normally scream. I just choke and flinch upon seeing this person staring at me from the other side of the gym. It's like they were expecting me to be there. Can't discern the face. Just a figure that I can feel is staring at me. I stumble a bit and bolt out, closing the doors behind me. I'm running for my life up the stairs and through the hall. The hall runs parallel to the length of the gym and is about 2 meters above it, so you can clearly spectate any games going on in there during school hours. As I run, I look down and the person is still there, tracking me as I'm running. By this point, I'm crying my face off and making sure whomever this person was, that they were down there and not bolting out the doors after me. They just stare at me as I go, and I can't make out their face. I bound down the hallway towards the auditorium where the club was meeting. I'm now running adjacent and away from the gym, still crying and also feeling relieved and fairly safe. But then I hear some furious footsteps of someone sprinting right behind me. I look back. It's the person, literally running for my life, trying to shriek, tears and snot running down my face, and before I know it, I'm at the auditorium doors, and I just push my way in. I get there and I'm a fucking mess of snot, tears and sweat, panting and crying. Parents freak out, ask what's wrong. Tell them someone was in the gym and then they chased me down the hall. They take it fairly seriously and go out with me along with 2 other couples. Gym lights are off, which is weird because it usually takes hours of no activity to turn them off. They get into the gym and turn on the lights, but nobody's there. No sign of anyone being there. Needless to say, I never wandered the halls alone after that shit. Even during school hours, I never went to the gymnasium if there weren't other folks in there. I also made sure that I was never the only one in the change room. I told my friends about it, but they told me I was being a pansy.
Moved to an old cottage. Me and my grandfather moving boxes into the cottage. Black mass about human size, but no human features slowly moving in the hallway. We see it. It sees us. It freezes for a few seconds like a startled animal. Black mass then darts into the bathroom and slowly oozes through the wall. My granddad tells me to wait in the house while he goes outside in the direction the black mass was headed. After a while, I get scared of waiting alone in the house. I go to the outside of the house where the mass had gone through the wall. My grandfather was talking out loud to himself. As I approached, he stopped talking. I asked, "What was that?" He replied, "I don't know." My parents and I moved into the cottage. Me and my mum start decorating one of the bathrooms. We feel electricity in the air. Then a plant pot flies off the window ledge and goes across the room. The window was shut. There was no wind. Every once in a while, I'd sneak around slowly opening doors. On rare occasions, I'd see the black mass hanging in the middle of the dining room. Once it noticed me, it would slowly move through the wall where a doorway had been bricked up. On the other side of the doorway was the kitchen. I showed the black mass to my next-door neighbor. He tried to touch it. I warned him against it. Nothing seemed to happen. The black mass just made its way through where the door had been bricked up. When I stayed around his house, we both heard arguing and a baby crying, but could not find out where it was coming from. I showed my younger cousin the black mass. He screamed, cried, and ran outside. Where I lived, there were only 2 houses on the street. The roads didn't even have any sort of lighting. One night I was left alone in the house. I feel electricity in the air like static from a lift. I could hear a snapping sound. It was coming from upstairs in the back room. I walked over as bravely as I could and said, "I am not afraid of you." As I swung open the door and took a step inside the room, I felt something whack me in the face. Terrified, I ran out of the house, leaving the doors wide open. In pitch black, I sprinted up my garden as fast as my legs would take me. I jumped over 2 fences and ran crying up the middle of the dark road, until finally reaching my grandparents' house. It was no longer an exciting adventure for me. I painted my bedroom walls black to make it harder for me to see the black mass, most of the time sleeping with my light on.
It's not really that huge of a note, but it was weird. I was spending time in Iceland with my grandparents, and you read every so often that like 50% of people there believe in fairies. So I kinda think it could be related to that. B13. In Iceland. Walking from a little general store back to my grandparents. Hear people talking. It's really weird. I can hear them well but can't understand them. Go to the edge of the lake. See a couple skipping stones. The guy was little and old. Like 4'5". The woman was really tall and pretty. I seriously can't even guess how tall she was. I say hello and wave. They see me. Laugh. Run to a big rock. Disappear behind it. I run down to the shore. No one is there. I walk over to where they were skipping stones. Notice a really pretty stone just in front of where they were. Reach into water and pick it up. Almost drop it. It's really cold and heavy. Think maybe it's a piece of ice because it's so cold. Start mashing it between my hands to try to melt it. It doesn't melt, but it does leak water. It's really pretty and looks like picture-related but not glass and a grayish-blue color. Decide to take it home. Put it in my pocket. Run the rest of the way to my grandparents. I don't say anything because they worry about me talking to strangers, and I just tried to talk to strangers. The stone is still cold. Set it on a towel on my dresser to see if it would melt in the sun. It doesn't. I take a jewelry lockbox I had and put it in it. I put my jewelry box in my secret hiding spot under the dresser. Go to bed. Wake up and go out with my grandparents for the day. Come home and check my stone. It's gone, and so are a couple little rings I had in there with it. Pretty bummed and a little freaked out. Start thinking of the fairy stuff I heard. Few days later, I find the missing rings in a pair of clean socks.
This is probably not interesting to others, but fits under traumatic for me. I have an illness that I've had since I was 15 months old. Got it through a medical mistake. It affects me every day. Always in pain and feel sick. Don't know if it's my illness and/or medicine effects, though. Anyway, because of it, I've been through a lot. Had 2/3 of my right lung removed at 18 months old. Had a mild stroke at 8. Had a bone infection scraped from left leg at 14. Infection nearly ate through bone. Had it not been found then, I would have had to have it amputated. Had various lymph nodes removed throughout the years. When I was 11, I had some removed from my neck and was misdiagnosed as aggressive lymphoma and told I had 6 months to live. Actually did some chemo before it was realized. Had 2 spinal taps with no pain medication. First one, don't remember. Parents said I was just held down and screamed like crazy. For the second one, I was 12 and had some medicine, but they didn't work because the nurse botched my IV. Those are pretty much the main hardcore things. Even though I'm very into the paranormal, I've had no personal experiences. Stayed in a lot of old places, some supposedly haunted, and nothing non-paranormal that was creepy scary either. Other than my illness, life's pretty boring. Huh.
Sister died in the womb 5 years before I was born. Twin brother died in the womb. Mother has bipolar disorder and is a little crazy sometimes. She tells me that she thanks God every day for me, because if it weren't for me, she would have killed herself long ago. When I was around 5, I started having dreams where I saw a baby floating in water and a sound I would describe as a silent scream. Now I'm 19, and I never loved anybody and can't connect with any friends. There always seems to be a woman and a boy creeping around in the corner of my eye. Can't even sleep well, because I have that feeling that someone is in the room. Sometimes I lose control of my thoughts and body, and I act like a completely different person. Tried going to some mystic old lady everyone says can get rid of ghosts. In the middle of some kind of ritual, I just lose control. Say I shouldn't trust her, and run away. Afraid to go again. Don't know if my brother and sister are angry because I was born and they died, or if they are trying to help me and participate in my life somehow. Shit's hard, yo.
Be me. Be 8 years old. Almost drowned, but by a stroke of luck, Mum found me in time to save me. Did not see any tunnel or any shit like that when the water filled my lungs and I passed out. Got into a hospital that day and was told to stay there because of an infection I had. Spent 2 nights there. Started seeing some shit. Like little children coming into my room, kicking balls around and giggling before running out. Got home a day later, started really seeing some shit. People on the street who are not material and don't react to the world around them. The one that was most ingrained in my head was this old man. He was in the middle of the street, people passing right through him. He looked so lost, told Mum. Mum is ultra-religious and takes me to a Benzadira house. I do not know the equivalent in English. Benzadira here is a woman who makes prayers, rituals, lifts curses, and drives bad spirits away. The house is old and full of religious artifacts. Mother tells the Benzadira the story. The woman tells Mum to leave the house for a while, and to leave me with her. Mum proceeds to leave me with this creepy, magical old lady. Gee, thanks, Mum. After Mama leaves, the lady turns to me and says, "You are a child with open eyes, aren't you?" in a really sweet voice. I reply, "I don't know." Good answer, moron. She tells me to test it. She orders me to pay attention and see if we were alone. The room had a door open leading to a hallway. I see a man completely in black in the hallway just standing there. Nopes internally. I must have gotten as white as milk because she made a little noise and started nodding. She asked if I wanted to be like her, and that if I wanted, I could become her apprentice. A crazy old lady is asking me if I want to keep seeing this shit and interact with it, me a child. No thanks. She mumbles something like, "What a shame." She says I have to close my eyes so she could close them for me. She starts splashing some stuff I don't know on me. After a few minutes of splashing and painting my face with some oil like I was Simba. Okay, it's done. I say thanks and literally bolt out the door after she opens it and I get to the car. Mum talks to her and comes back to the car. Never had any supernatural experiences after that. But I sure as hell know it exists.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.